Mic on. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Weather extra. Wah, cha, 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 cha. Weird morning, obviously, for scheduling purposes because the Ryder Cup is on and NBC covers it. I'm a big fan of it, and I watch it, and I was watching it this morning. But it also means that our newscast was cut short, so we were on air from 5 to 6. Those of you who turned on the TV at 6, between 6 and 7 to see us, watch the golf instead. And or maybe you didn't. I don't know. Maybe you turned it off. But it's very entertaining so far this morning. Maybe not as entertaining as Claudia, Matthew, and myself can be in the morning, but it was also no cut-ins. And so I've been just kind of chilling out, waiting to do weather extra. I'm here now and still tracking fog this morning. All that orange, yellow, and red that you see there in DeKalb and Jackson County, especially if you're driving like on 72 from Hollywood to Aspel to Woodville, up towards Pleasant Groves, even to our Franklin County viewers up in Tennessee. Pea soup, dense, really nasty fog. Visibility near zero most of the morning. Very tough go in those areas. And there's a dense fog advisory that goes until 9 a.m. for another half an hour. Should start to burn off soon. Once we burn that fog and that glob of fogginess there, it turns out to be a pretty nice day across the Tennessee Valley. A lot of times when you have all the rain that we had this week, frontal boundary comes through and the air behind it is delightful and refreshing. I felt like that was the case when I worked on like Wednesday. Not quite as crisp. The dew points are going to drop a bit, but they're still going to stay in the 60s this weekend. So it's not like that really amazing, refreshing air mass fall feel, but it's still going to be nice. Sunny, low 80s. There's a slight chance of a shower if you live right along the Alabama-Georgia state line between about noon and 2 p.m. But most areas will stay dry today, and even if you get that shower, it will last for like 5 seconds and move away. Not like the rain that we had during the week, where very interesting when the drought monitor gets updated next Thursday. I would think there's going to be some vast improvements to it, especially for some areas that picked up over 8-9 inches of rain this past week. Some areas close to 10. And even yesterday, Mother Nature like throwing the last gut punch there with the rainfall. I was in southeast Huntsville about 5, 6 o'clock, and the skies just opened up and it poured. And it was sunny out and pouring. I'm looking for the rainbow, couldn't find it, but probably picked up close to an inch of rain where I was at. I didn't have a way to measure it. I was actually in southeast Huntsville not working. And yeah, it was coming down. And I followed that rain 565 all the way to University. I got to like the Best Buy area, Mid-City, and finally the rain started to ease up. But boy, it was coming down. That was like these little isolated downpours yesterday. Brad was tracking them. He's like, at sunset, they're done. And they were. His forecast was right on. He also called for the patchy fog that would be rather dense this morning, and hence we have that too as well. It was a great forecast. Tonight, I'm going to go mostly clear, comfortable, around 60. I don't think if we have any fog that develops, it will be nearly as bad as it is right now outside for areas that have it. So should be an okay morning to get to church services tomorrow. Might need a light jacket. You do you, boo, but it'll be a little cool for some of you. And then Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday look really good. A lot of mid-80s, right about where we should be for this time of year. 60 to 65 at night. Humidity, not completely out of the picture, but not oppressive or where it's uncomfortable. Where it gets interesting is at the middle to end of next week. We're tracking the tropics. And before I talk about the tropics, let me say hi. It's Mike Gentle, who is on, hanging out with me this morning. Always good to see you on, my friend. I've moved on from coffee to Mountain Dew at this point, so I'm feeling real good this morning on this Saturday. Donna Oliver, she says, good Saturday morning, Jeff. Nice weather. Dio from PC in the house. Good to see you on. And Quinn, good to see you on. I always appreciate your comments, Quinn, on my Facebook page, and sometimes I feel bad if I don't get back to you right away, but I appreciate you coming on for Weather Extra. To say hi and good morning to you, my friend. Spider webs cool to see this morning. Yeah, they got a little of that dew on them, right? The sun hitting them and they reflect that water off of them. Looks cool. Joseph says, what are you doing this weekend after work? Joseph, I am going to, this is so exciting. I know you're going to be excited. I mowed Wednesday and Thursday. I mowed Thursday, whatever day I went home that day. And I got it in between a few showers. And today I'm actually cleaning some things up in my house. and making room for things and getting rid of some stuff. That's it. And then watch college football. Yay. That's all I'm going to do. It's a big, big, big day for me. Big plans. Let's talk tropics. Because the tropics are going to be something that needs to be watched mainly for like Georgia, South Carolina, Florida in the next couple of days, but may have an impact on our weather. And let me explain. So you got Gabrielle, that little low pressure. Let me pull this up so you can see it better, okay? So Gabrielle, last week at this time, I sat at this very desk on Sunday and said, Gabrielle is eventually going to bring rain to Spain. There it is, bringing rain to Spain and Portugal too, the Iberian Peninsula. And it's now in a lesser, weaker form, but Gabrielle was at one point a major hurricane for the fish. And that's exactly what Umberto is going to do. Not Humberto, but Umberto. Cat 4 now, almost the same track as Gabrielle, where it may come a little closer to Bermuda, but it's going to take a V-line and follow Gabrielle towards Europe and eventually weaken and become, this is going to be like an open ocean fish storm, essentially. And what I mean by fish storm, for those of you who don't know, it means that the fish will get wet, and that's about it. I want to zoom in on PTC 9. What does PTC mean? Sounds like a robot, right? It's Potential Tropical Cyclone 9. And if it were to become named, it would be the I, which is Imelda, which is spelled with an I. And all those little spaghetti tracks aren't that we don't know what it's going to do. It's just what the forecast models are spitting out this far out, which usually gives you a wide range of scenarios. That's why the 10-day forecast, I always tell people, look at it loosely on 8, 9, and 10 because there's a lot of different outcomes. And forecasting weather, domino effect, one thing can lead to another, and different scenarios can play out if something happens a little differently in the initiation of the actual system. But right now, what PTC 9 looks to become, whether it gets named Imelda or not, is trivial. It doesn't matter. It looks like it could be a big rainmaker for coastal Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. Some of the forecast models, the GFS in particular, bring a little rain all the way west up into the Tennessee Valley and even to Middle Tennessee, whereas the Euro just takes it right back out to sea. So what we've done on the forecast is we added some rain pops for like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The one thing that it will do is whether it brings rain or not, it will bring a lot of cloud cover. And with the cloud cover, that should keep temperatures down a bit for the end of the week. 73 might be a little too cool, but that's the general thought process there, and that's the 10-day forecast for you. So beautiful Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then watching that tropical system. Stay tuned for that. I don't think this is going to be a tropical system that cuts through the Gulf of Mexico and slams us with heavy rain. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's going to affect areas to the east mostly, but how far west that little rain shield gets will play a big part in how Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will play out. If it all stays east, we can take the pops out, and we're good to go. But we will have more cloud cover towards the end of the week, though. That looks like a given. An early call for next week. I kept it dry Saturday and Sunday for now. Could be a few showers like Sunday night into early Monday. We may have to add to that 10-day forecast. A lot of the rain with that may stay south of us and not make it all the way here. So we're watching. That's what we do. We just kind of hang out and just watch that stuff. Joseph says, what are you going to eat for dinner tonight? Joseph, I don't even know, my friend. What am I going to eat? I don't know. I have some salmon at home that I cooked up, and I eat off that the whole weekend, so I don't have to cook, so I can enjoy football. I might have that with some potatoes. Yeah, sounds pretty good. I'll pull the 10-day back up because I want to take a drink of my soda. I don't want you to see that. But that is the forecast. Quiet stuff. Boy, what kind of awesomeness did we have this past week in the sense that I know that the rainfall was a little heavy at times and it was a little dicey with some flooding, but we had beneficial rain, hardly any severe weather reported in terms of storm reports. And I know there were some warnings and stuff like that, but overall there was really no storm reports. Occasional, like an isolated tree damage or something. So we got rainfall, kept severe weather low, and we get a more comfortable air mass in place just in time for the weekend. I mentioned this, I think it was like, when did I work? Monday night when I worked with Nolan. I said, if we could hit the trifecta of perfection, it would be all three of those things. And that's what happened. We got beneficial rain, a little too much at one time in some places, but it worked. And there was a couple wind damage reports, few and far between. There was a tornado warning for a hot second, but there was no tornado. And then we had the nice weather now. It worked out really well. It's good stuff. I mean, when you have that kind of combination of much needed rainfall, but it can happen during the week and then get out in time for the weekend, for many of you that works. Now, obviously, if you're not a typical Saturday, Sunday off kind of schedule thing like myself, for me, it poured on my 2 days off. But I was okay with it. It worked out well, which was nice. But it's really weird when we don't have the whole full morning show. I'm sitting here and I'm like, I feel like I didn't work yet this morning. I feel like I'm just coming in now for the first time, but it's not like that at all. It's kind of bizarre. So, but you should be good to go the rest of the day for those outdoor plans. I didn't talk about any events that were taking place. I usually make a graphic. But there are numerous events taking place across the Tennessee Valley, not only this weekend, but next weekend. I'm trying to think. I had the games written down. Alabama's Between the Hedges in Athens at 6:30. And any showers in Georgia should lift north for the game, and any kind of rainfall should be ending by kickoff. Auburn's playing in College Station against A&M at 2:30 off the top of my head, and they're good to go. Near 90, should be fine weather-wise. And A&M's taking on Bethune-Cookman, and that is at Daytona Beach, and should be okay. There's some showers there, but may start to decrease in coverage by the time the game kicks off, and I do believe that's a 2:30 kickoff as well, but I don't know off the top of my head. UNA is off this weekend. They have a bye. They will be back at it next weekend. I am hoping to go to the Alabama A&M game next Saturday. Eric Burke and myself might go over there, and they're taking on Jackson State, so it's right near where I live. It's like literally can walk to the stadium. So I think we're going to go check that out. Excited about football season. I live vicariously through college football now because my Tennessee Titans in pro football stink, and they have to try to win a game this Sunday against the Texans. The 0-3, they're calling it the Toilet Bowl. I'm not kidding you. The Toilet Bowl. 0-3 Tennessee Titans versus the 0-3 Houston Texans. Winner keeps their season afloat for one more week. The loser knows that they're not making the playoffs this year at 0-4 with 13 games left. But Oktoberfest, Coleman Oktoberfest is next week, I do believe. I think it's the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, which is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think that's the correct dates. That's what we have on the advertisement. So, 3-day event there. I went to it my first year here. It was really cool. Had a good time. You get a brewski in a boat. It's literally shaped like a boot. It's big. It's really cool. And I had pizza that day. I don't want to talk about it. I don't know why I had a craving for pizza when I should have had something more German, but I didn't. But good times. People were so nice. I had barely worked here. Like that first year I went, I had worked here for like 10 months. And in Coleman County, the county's kind of split. It's part Birmingham and part us. So I figured I'd just go to Coleman out and nobody would. And then people came up to me and they were so nice. They shook my hand, welcomed me to Alabama, and went out of their way to say hello to me. It was really awesome, actually. So and I was like, wow, I moved to the right place. This is pretty cool. Good stuff. All right, I'm going to bust a move and go. Jada in tonight, me back tomorrow morning. Jada back in tomorrow night. We'll have you covered for the weekend and kind of fine-tune that forecast for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Keep an eye on what happens in the tropics, whether Imelda actually becomes a named system or not, where the bulk of that rain is going to go. Is it going to go South Florida, Central Florida, Georgia, South Carolina? That looks like what is going to happen, but does it move inland enough where it starts to affect maybe Middle Tennessee, Tennessee Valley, up towards Kentucky? A lot of times you can get some pretty heavy rain with some of those tropical systems that move over land, and they can produce some really heavy rainfall. And we're on like the anniversary of Helene, who did that like last year, right? So got to keep an eye on it. I don't think it would be quite like that kind of rainfall, but anytime you have a tropical system, they're just filled with moisture. You can just wring it out like a sponge, and if it's over one place for a prolonged period of time, it can cause some very bad flooding. So we'll keep an eye on it. That's what we do. For now, everybody have a fantastic Saturday. Enjoy the great weather. I'm jealous if you're going to be out and about doing stuff. I'm just watching college football and not taking full advantage, though. The pickleball posse needs to get together and play soon. It's been 2 weeks since the pickleball posse here at 48's played. Our target date is on Monday, and the weather looks to cooperate, so we'll try to get a little pickleball in then. But if you're playing some golf today, a little pickleball, just taking a walk on one of the beautiful greenways in the area, have fun, be safe, and I'll see you back tomorrow morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at 5 a.m. Have a good day.